How did you blow up on Instagram to get to 30 million views in 40 days?
I don't know if I should say this, but honestly...
Today's guest is Dominik Rieger, better known as HeyDominik. A former law school dropout turned creator agency founder, he built a 7-figure business and helped creators explode their audiences, all while staying brutally honest. He's here to share his strategies for content, growth, and algorithms.
I wanted to be an influencer, so I was like, okay, how can I make this happen? Suddenly brands started coming to me. Formula One, McLaren, I was like, what the hell?
No shit. What's the fastest way to monetize your content if you're new?
I tell people, and they're like, motherfucker.
Here's why most people are unhappy as fuck with their life. It has to do with...
We had, like, in Vienna, some office where there was, like, 300 phones with Instagram test accounts, where I was just testing and seeing how the algorithm works.
What was, like, the most exotic niche you've had as a client?
I mean, we had some porn stars.
What's that porn star's name?
I was watching her for years. That time,
Oh, shit. How do you trick the Instagram algorithm to go viral?
Easiest trick in the book, obviously, is...
Where's your ring?
I forgot it. Yeah, I do have a ring. I forgot. I actually usually have 2 rings, like an hour thing.
Yeah.
And a wedding one.
That's so
I forgot it. Sorry. But I can tell you, I am married.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah. So that's where we wrote initially, I think, once.
I don't know what happened and why. Oh, Martin Schauer, you remember him?
Yeah.
He texted me, he's like, something, and I didn't remember why, and I'm like, okay, I'll text you.
Martin Schauer, man, of course, that's the guy you also know.
Yeah, I know a lot of these. Yeah. From this area, because, yeah.
So that's how we wrote. That must have been 6-7 years ago.
Must be a long time.
And
2019,
I didn't know
20.
I didn't know that. I just thought you were just a regular person. I mean, you are a regular person, but then
very regular.
But then years later, I go on YouTube and I find your videos. I'm like, Instagram, how to grow on Instagram. And I'm like, this guy's super cool. And I watched your videos for like years.
Oh, you did?
That's
crazy.
Yeah. Not all of them, but every now
sure.
and then, I was like, that's some really good shit.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I connected the dots. Oh, I think then I wrote you on Instagram.
Could be.
And then I saw the messages that we wrote years before. I'm like, wait a minute, what? We wrote before? Like,
it's even crazier than that, man. Even crazier. I totally forgot about it because it must have been 2016. So it must have been 2016, maybe 2015. Wow. 2015. So here's another thing. Yes. So I was in LA in 2015. And I was with some guys and they were like, let's go to some event. And they just took, it was somewhere in downtown LA. Because I kind of lived in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And it was some event downtown LA. I think you were there as well.
Yeah,
that's when I first saw you. It was like lots of people there. Like, I don't know, 500 people in there. You were there. I don't remember the name.
It was
the
me,
guy,
Owen, Jordan. Yeah, Jim Owen. That was Owen with the beard. That was
yeah.
We did a free tour there, a seminar.
I was there. So that was 2015. Yes, that was 2015. So then I kind of figured out, like, I think you must be from Austria or something like that. Or you said it or something. And I kind of lost track of you. And then I was at that point, I was still trying to find myself, you know?
Yeah.
Trying to figure shit out because I was at the university in Vienna and I was like, fuck this shit.
What did you study?
Law.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. Yeah. Where all the cool people come. and then I found you on YouTube. I think that was how it happened. I found you on YouTube in 2015, 16, right after this. And here's the thing. We have a picture together.
No shit.
Yes. And I just remember this literally an hour ago. And I spent an hour finding this picture.
Do you have it?
I have it.
Dude, show me.
I have it.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
We actually did something, but I don't remember anything. I just remember a little bit about video cutting.
Wait, what?
I was so bored. Yeah.
You were cutting videos?
I think for you.
No shit.
Wait a minute.
What the hell?
Just
in the little mini office
in LA
or
at home
online.
The thing is, in 2016, I ran into a kitchen closet, and then I got like a bad concussion, like one that knocked me out for a week or something.
What the hell?
I still have issues with this. I'm still dizzy every few months. So I forgot a lot of things, unfortunately. which probably is a good thing anyway.
It's
But
funny
here's
because
the
I forgot a lot of things too without running into a kitchen.
So maybe it's not because of that.
Maybe.
Maybe the doctors just wanted to be nice. Because I was actually at a doctor a few years ago trying to get myself checked out. And he's like, yeah, could be. But anyway, so here's the picture I found.
Let's see. Oh my!
I'm on the right.
Dude. There's. Oh shit! You look so different, man.
Oh yeah, you too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, wait, dude, I know these people. There's Kevin in the top left.
Oh, Kevin, what's his name?
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a business partner of mine, dude.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Cool.
Where was that? That was in Vienna.
This was in Vienna, MQ.
Oh, Museumsquartier, bro. Holy shit! I know.
And
I don't know the other guys.
Now I remember something. So I was always texting, not with you. I was texting with Boss Chen.
Yeah, my assistant.
Yeah. And he always sent me some, because I was like I loved video editing since.
Oh, I remember now.
And
for some reason now,
I blurred out faces.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Yeah, I did this hours a day.
For
I was
natural.
Yes.
My first video product.
Exactly.
You were on that crew. I remember. Yeah. Holy shit! You were the blurring
the faces. I love
when you had to do it frame by frame, man.
No, I didn't do it. Yeah? I can tell you now because Bosch was like, "Dude, you need to do it frame by frame." And I was like, "No, I've been editing for a while." I was tracking the masks, and it was basically pretty fast.
No shit.
So it was, yeah.
Well, man, that's
how it works.
Insane.
And I totally forgot about this until recently, actually today.
Okay, so after that, let's. That is insane. And now you're super well known for your brand, where you teach people how to grow on Instagram, how to go viral. You got a bunch of really, really insane results for yourself, for your clients. You have how many subs do you have on YouTube now?
Honestly, I don't know. 180, 90.
Insane.
Something like that. I stopped tracking after 100.
Crazy.
Because...
And like I said, I watched your videos. I'm like, this guy fucking... Because there's so many bullshit artists on like how to go viral on Instagram. And I'm like, I always found your videos. I'm like, okay, this guy fucking is legit. Yeah. Like, he knows what he's doing. He doesn't just like gimmicky bullshit. It's not clickbaity. Like, you actually fucking know what you're doing.
Yeah.
What a fucking... How did you get... So you like the video editing stuff?
Yeah.
And then how did you get from that to what you're doing right now?
I was actually just trying to figure out what to do with my life. Because I'm like, I don't want to be a lawyer or stuff like this. So I basically went ahead and, so first, literally, one of the first thing was like, okay, university. I don't want to do university. I was looking for gigs. I think the one with you was even unpaid.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It was unpaid.
But I loved it because I didn't have to go to university. So I was just editing. And then I started an agency, made the web design.
Okay.
Like everybody does, seems like, with a friend of mine. And, then we some people asked us, how about Instagram? Because that was like the new thing. You do that too? I'm like, sure. I didn't know anything, obviously. 0.0. We're just winging it, to be honest, and just figuring stuff out. And then I figured out, okay, there's these influencers who are coming up right now, these Instagram influencers. Ooh, the beautiful, like the people who are just cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be a cool guy. So I started I wanted to be an influencer. So I was like, okay, how can I make this happen? Just locally known in Vienna.
Yeah.
And 10,000 followers was already considered the influencer. And I just figured it out. I just made some pictures. It's stupid. It's just horrible. It just disgusts me if I think about this. It's pictures with a hat.
Yeah.
And something like this,
Is that still on your Instagram?
Some of them. I deleted a lot, but some I just had to leave on there just because I want to remind myself.
Yeah, that's funny.
But suddenly brands started coming to me, and Formula One,
what?
McLaren. I was like, what the hell?
No shit.
So they shipped us a bunch of people to the Zeltweg race,
Formula One race.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like paddock club and stuff like this. Yeah, and like. I was like, okay, this actually something cool. How can I do?
Sorry to interrupt you. How many followers did you have when they got you into the Formula One?
15K.
Wow.
I don't think I had more. Maybe even less.
What was 2019 influencer brand about? Like
influencing, just looking,
just
looking and take a picture with a hat but the thing that I figured out quite early was I always wrote these captions that are I was like, I want to have like a mini blog. I want to like I'm speaking to people. So this is how it started, and this is why I suddenly got so many comments and engagement. People reaching out to me, even with 10K followers. Everybody was like, "Hey, cool, blah blah blah." I think this was the first thing where I kind of figured out, okay, it's about developing the audience and not just blowing up for likes and stuff like this. Yeah, and it went ahead. After a while, I figured out, cool, this is not for me though, because this is just hard. That's just stupid. We had awesome time though. So, for example, once I'm not sure if we can talk about this, but once we were in some party with Scooter, with HB Baxter.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, and I remember I got some henna tattoo there, and some other substances.
Okay.
And also something with pissing into some bucket.
Wait, what?
Scooter.
With Scooter?
Yeah. But
Piss in a bucket with Scooter?
Essentially, yeah.
Wow.
And, but this, yeah. Then I was like, okay, yeah, this influencer thing is legit. But people started to reach out to me saying, how can I do the same? Like, how can I grow on Instagram and have a audience like this?
Yeah.
You know, the audience who are a little bit invested in you and not just some cool picture. And I was like, oh, yeah, let me think how I did it. Then I started a YouTube channel and kind of figuring it out with the clients that I already had on the back end.
Is that the YouTube channel you still have?
I still have it, yeah.
That's still the same YouTube
channel? Yeah.
Wow. You just started to talk about how to grow Insta, and then, like I said, like that, it's cool that you brought that up, that it wasn't just like, let's blow up with random content, but that your main focus has always been how to build a relationship to your audience.
Right.
I've noticed that too with the very first business, the dating advice business, which is how we met, apparently, now that you know that. It's dude, I had made my first million with 20,000 followers on Instagram. And sure, I had a YouTube channel as well, so don't get that wrong, but like I hadn't realized at that point how lucrative my small brand was already, because only later I would meet influencers with like literally 1 million followers. So I just did the calculation based on my old brand. I'm like, well, I made 1 million with 20,000 followers. So if you have 1 million, like, holy shit, we can make even more.
Sure.
And then, you know, like, and then I realized, oh, the number doesn't actually matter. I've met so many influencers with 1 million followers, and I'm like, okay, how many CTA replies did you get on that promo? And he's like, 4. And I'm like, what? You have 1 million followers. And then the funny thing is, especially, I met this one guy. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm not going to say the name of this guy, but he's a huge South African fitness influencer.
Okay.
Extremely jacked guy, over 1 million followers. And he wanted to work with me, you know, and whenever influencers come to me and they want to work with me, ever since that guy, I start asking more detailed questions about like, how many story views do you get? Where do these followers come from, etc. And what are you known for? And what it turns out with this guy, at first, he was all braggy. Like most influencers, he's all like, yeah, I got like 4 different income streams. Yeah, we're making 1 million and so on and so forth. And that's when I realized, I told him to do a test CTA for a high-ticket coaching offer because he said he wants to do fitness coaching because he's a fitness dude, right? And that's where I asked him, like, how many replies did you get to that? And he said 4. And I looked a little closer into that, and it turns out that most of his followers, of his 1 million followers, are gay men that just literally want to fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, because he's this, like,
be lucrative as well. Probably even more so, honestly. Yeah. I would recommend him to do that.
100%, because, you know, he's this jacked guy, which is like pretty sexy for a lot of gay guys. So, and all of a sudden he starts talking. He goes from bragging to like, yeah, it really sucks. Oh, my DMs are full of dick pics. Like, he's literally said this. He's like, guys want to fly me out to Dubai for $35K so I can have sex with them. Right. And I tell them I'm not homosexual, but they don't care. They're like, look, how much do you want?
Probably in New York.
Change your mind.
Yeah.
You know? So, and then I told him, like, hey, listen, man, like, even if you pay me a lot of money, I don't think I can help you with building a high-ticket coaching offer because your audience doesn't want that. Your audience wants to suck your dick. So, and then years later, I stumbled across his profile again, and he started on OnlyFans.
There you go.
He started OnlyFans, and his photos would be like him in his underwear, and like not just in his underwear, like flexing, but like sexy poses with his ass peak, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And he's got a wife and dogs, and like, I'm like, bro, like, you're prostituting yourself.
Yeah.
So that's where I realized, like, followers alone, the number doesn't matter.
Oh man, this is so many different levels though. I know one super famous Austrian influencer. I'm not gonna mention names. But now he seems like he's legit now. But back then he had like this huge campaign with an Austrian chain that I'm also not going to mention, but it starts with B and it ends with IPA. And in between there's no other letters. But he actually had to pay back the whole yearly fee because they figured out we don't get any conversions.
Wow.
But he was like one of the major ones.
What was he supposed to promote? Their
brand, yeah. I don't know. He had like a long-term partnership, I think. Wow. Something, yeah.
It's crazy. And it's getting worse too, because at least back then, like that was a perfect example. Like these companies would just be like, "Oh, we've heard about this influencer marketing thing.
Yeah.
So let's just get a random guy and pay him $30K."
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's all these. There's like too much offers out there, too many influencers there. So the market swung, right? The whole idea behind supply and demand. There's too much supply and too little demand. And now also with AI, it's like you can just create your own freaking influencer,
right?
And this is really crazy. Like we have clients now too. We just started doubling down on AI, specifically AI content creation in 2024.
Awesome.
And we have like 65-year-old ladies that are just creating like AI stuff.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and they're just going viral with like 2.1 million views. It was just an AI video, you know, and they're like crushing it with that. And
how do you teach them though?
Huh?
How do you teach them though? Because I have a bunch of ladies like this as well.
I was going to ask,
but it's a little complicated.
It is. They need a lot of hand holding.
Yeah.
A lot of really from the bottom up, right? So when I first started teaching specific content creation, I'm like, this is how the algorithm works. Like I would just go into all these like advanced things, and then we would get older and older clients. Our oldest client, 94 years old.
Holy crap!
94 years old. And you know what he does? Shout out to him. His name is Paul, and he does sports content.
Okay.
Just like sports highlights and shit like that. This guy's going fucking viral, getting like 200,000 views. And it's really cool. And what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, so with these guys, like you have to be like, this is your phone. This is the home button.
Right.
This is how you install Instagram. This, like, from the ground up. So we had to include a module 0, which is like before module 1 with like all the utmost basic stuff.
Okay.
And our advantage was that I already came from the high ticket coaching space for many, many years. So my entire company was already structured for one-on-one. So even if you buy the quote unquote cheapest version of what we do, you still get a one-on-one coach. So if you're an older person, you hop on a call with your one-on-one coach for like an hour or two, and they like click with you through it. Like, this is how you upload a video. Click save. Now you save the clip on your computer, like really from the bottom up.
Okay, yeah.
Because they need it. They just. But the cool thing is, like, once they get it, they're crushing it.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of old people have nothing else to do.
That's right.
You know, they're retired. Their kids are out of the house.
Sure.
So all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, here's my 6 videos that I made yesterday, and they're like, good. And especially with AI editing, you know, you use Submagic and stuff like that. Like, you know, like you come from the editing space, like how retarded we had to like edit ourselves. And now with Submagic, you press a bunch of buttons, like the subtitles alone.
Yeah.
We used to have to do subtitles manually.
That's the horrible thing for me was subtitles.
Insert text field, type it in,
type
listen
it out
to it again. And now you press a freaking button and the subtitle and the GIF's already there.
Yeah.
So they're crushing it. But I saw a video of yours on your YouTube, and I couldn't watch it yet because there was not enough time.
Sure.
But it said that you got some pretty sick results. So my question to you is, how did you blow up on Instagram to get to 30 million views in 40 days?
It was one of the clients. He's actually here somewhere.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
In Dubai.
Yeah. Essentially it's the same blueprint as for everybody. Honestly, the algorithms, you know, some people, for them, it just works way faster. For some, it just takes time. For example, we had one client particularly, he's not 800, 900K followers. And he started from 0. And for him, it took probably 4 to 5 months without anything happen. He always hopped on the call. He's like, what are we doing wrong? I'm like, don't do anything differently. You're on the right path.
What was his niche?
Music, actually. Yeah. And the other one, basically we were mapping out a strategy and we're looking at some stuff and everybody was doing like, it's like entertainment though.
Yeah.
Because obviously for these crazy blow up things, it needs to be entertaining and like a broader niche. And we had these short videos, really short videos that were doing well in his target audience and competitors and stuff like this. And we noticed some of them were doing pretty well a few weeks in, a couple of thousand views and stuff like this, but still nice organically. And then I was like, let's just try out longer videos, literally like a minute or like a minute 30, which was the maximum at that time. And started doing that, 0 results. So almost no views. But I noticed that the comments, for example, on posts like these, even though there's like 500 views as opposed to 2,500 views, the comments were like really going into it, and you could really see a conversation, some relationship starting to form, as opposed to just ha 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 or just 3 emojis. So I'm like, there's got to be something there. At watch time, all the stats were off. So if you're just going in and looking at the stats, watch time off, people are not watching. However, some that were watching were really, really engaging well. So I was like, let's just double down on this. And we started crafting some narrative structures, spent so much time in the editing and everything. And basically started some multi-part series. So without telling the audience though, because they don't like it if you're like part 1, part 2, part 3 at this point, because they're like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't have the commitment right now. And at some point it just switched. So at some point the algorithm figured out, okay, people, if it's really, really good content, people really want to watch it until the end. And then they wait until the next video drops, 1 minute 30. And from then on, it was basically a home run. And it just kept going on. Obviously, you need to be very consistent with these things to keep playing at that level.
Yeah.
So now he's doing way less, honestly, because,
What was the content about, the 60 to 90 minutes?
It's like kind of skits, to be honest.
But it was in the music niche still?
No, this was different. This was different client. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody did.
So it was like funny skits.
Yeah. Entertaining kind of skits.
And then he got to 30 million views in 40 days.
45, something like that, 40
Holy
days.
Shit. What did he do in terms of monetization, or did he do any?
Yeah. So he has like a brand, like a physical brand at the end of the line. That's it for now.
Like clothing or?
Yeah, clothing.
So he sells his own clothing?
Yeah.
Wow, insane. And with 40 million views, when someone gets 40 million views, or in this case 30 million views, how much could they potentially make?
So this particular one, I don't know the exact numbers. I just saw him sometimes. It was varying, obviously, depending on what the videos were, and but between 6 and sometimes 40K a day.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's not fucking bad. And he sold his own
it's like actually like sourcing in Turkey.
Wow. What are profit margins like?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay.
I think 30-ish%.
That's
like that.
pretty. I mean, it's again like for shooting videos, you know what I mean?
That's right.
I always think back like how, you and I, we come from almost the same region, Austria. Your grandparents probably told the same stories of like how they had to walk to school without shoes.
Even my father.
Yeah. So I'm always like, like people are complaining nowadays like, I have to make a video per day.
Ah, man, I can tell you, like, we just had some drama in my program.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if I should say this, but honestly, today we're kicking out some people because they drama queens. Or kinks, but it's queens. Yeah, because I don't have time. I'm entitled, basically. I want to have the views without a lot of work.
Yeah,
exactly.
It is something you need to commit. You don't have to work on it full time, but you have to commit to it. You have to
definitely
think. You have to put effort in it. I mean, funny enough, sometimes the content that makes you go viral is the one where you put zero effort in.
Usually,
you almost feel like an idiot. You're like, damn it. The other video, I was working my ass off. Nobody cares. But the one where I'm just like, whatever. I remember one of the first videos I went viral with was it was born out of a joke. It was literally just like XYZ is for people who are broke. and I got that format from, there's this 50 Cent interview, the rapper 50 Cent. And they ask him, like, 50 Cent, you got your water brand and you're writing a book and you're doing the music and you're touring. How do you sleep?" Or something like that. And he's like, "Sleep? I don't sleep. Sleep is for people who are broke." And I'm like, that's funny. So,
That's right.
so I just started rambling. It was literally like this, like, we were supposed to shoot reels and the camera was already rolling. And I'm like caffeinated. I told you earlier, I don't drink coffee. So when I do it, it's kicking in.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm just like, I think sightseeing was the first one. I'm like, because we were in Paris. And my friend is like, "You want to do sightseeing?" I'm like, "Sightseeing is for people who are broke. Like, what the fuck? You just look at photos of it." So we're like, this is funny. So we uploaded it. Boom, went viral. Then we were walking somewhere, and it was walking super slow. There was people in front of me, and I'm like, "God damn, walking is for people who are broke." So we recorded that. Boom, went viral again, and it was just like, it was the stupidest idea. And then we just did everything. Like, Android is for people who are broke. And
Okay.
OnlyFans for people who are broke. It's always like half of them just went fucking completely viral nuts. And then sometimes I would put like real effort into something and people didn't care.
That's right.
That's why I thought about, like, recently, it's like creating content is kind of almost like gambling. Of course, if you're good, you can kind of trick the system. But the cool thing is, like, you get to work, you make sure your hook is on point, your storytelling is on point, you're experimenting around, and then you click publish, and then it's kind of like you don't know what you're going to get.
It's kind of true, but I have to say, like, recently I'm honestly even thinking of pivoting my whole strategy to, because right now people come all the time, "I want to go viral, I want to go make as many views as possible and stuff like this." But honestly, it's not going to, so the example with the 40 million views, 30 million views, you don't need 30 million views to make 30K a day.
Yeah.
Honestly. Or let's say, 100 grand a month you can make with 10,000 views.
Absolutely.
It's probably less than that.
Yeah.
And in that sense, then I don't think it's gambling, because you just need to figure out actually what you want to achieve and figure out and just detach yourself from those bullshit numbers. And
that's a very good
out.
point. There's a vanity aspect to it, like how many views you're getting and how many comments, and then there's a real world aspect to it, like how much money you make from this. Because I've especially when you're super niche down, like I have clients with like they make like 500 views, but they make $500 off of it, right? Because they're like selling, like I had this woman once. She sold like a nails, like fake nails package thing.
Okay.
And yeah, she just made like $500 from like 1,000 views or something.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, that's like $500. Like I used to have to work my ass off for $500. So that's pretty decent. And then, so you always got to be careful, because just like I talked with that influencer before with 1 million followers who had to basically prostitute himself. I always rather have a small but highly lucrative micro brand
100%.
rather than just being the guy who gets recognized everywhere. I mean, that's nice too. Like, you probably have this too. It's like you get recognized probably once a day if you're in a big city.
Big city, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also it comes with certain advantages as well. But yeah, still, like, ultimately we were all in it just because we want freedom, and the freedom only comes from money.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This is what I'm saying. Like, for example, look at my Instagram. I don't use it, and people are always like, "Why don't you? What you only post like once a month?"
Yeah.
You fucking asshole, Dominik. You just fucking scammer. And like, literally, I can't, like, if I have 7K views in a video, I literally have to close my program again because I can't take more people.
Insane.
So
insane.
That's the other end of the spectrum that so many people don't understand, though. And when I first started, because that's one thing I figured out very early, that there's real leverage in just having a micro brand, like 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And then people from my hometown and stuff. I'm sure you know it, how people are in our cow city.
Yeah.
They're like, he's doing something illegal.
Oh, yeah.
I hear in the German TV, there's people with 1 million followers and they make 5K and not more. Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
It's funny because first they hate, and then at some point, like, when you keep being successful, keep pumping up more, all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, bro, what's up, bro?"
Did that happen to you as well?
All the time.
Oh, man, this is like the story of my life. I remember I went to Vienna, then I stopped doing the path, quitting university and just doing nothing, basically, just trying to figure it out. And people, I noticed, like, when I went out with some people, some old friends back then, they were kind of laughing behind their backs.
Yeah.
Let him dream, let him do his thing. I'm finishing my university and I'm doing the path. But for some reason, it never stopped then for me.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing the stuff. And then now everybody comes like, how can I do this? I'm looking for something too. You know, now they're like 5, 6, 7 years into their 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And their spirits are crushed. I'm like,
that's so well said. Their spirits are crushed. There's no better way to say it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this to hate on anybody.
Same.
Like when I studied Latin and English at university. First I studied musicology. Then I got tendonitis on both arms, and I switched to Latin and English because I wanted to become a high school teacher for languages. And I'm still in contact with some of my friends from university. And, you know, they got their PhD, some of them. And they're like, okay, they're finished studying. And I'm like, you look up, okay, what does a high school teacher with a PhD or even a university teacher make? You look that up, and you see the number, and I'm like, wait a minute. I make this before noon.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
What they make in a year, I make this, I get up in the morning, I have my morning steak, I take 3,000 steps, and I reply to my emails, and I made what this guy makes in a year. And I'm like, that's kind of
What do they make in a year, though?
They make like 40, 50K in a year.
Really?
And I'm like, that's kind of, and I'm like, that's kind of unfair because
it is very unfair.
They got to go to university all this time, you know what I mean? They have like real knowledge, but then at the end of the day, I'm not saying this to criticize them, because if they love it, then God bless. If you say, I'm totally fine with the amount of money I make, and I love the fact that I teach Latin and English at school, then please continue doing, and I love you for that. I'm happy for you. But then also, if you're not happy with this, then I feel like you've got fucked by the system big time, because you've been dangled this fake carrot in front of you the entire time. Go to university, go finish your fucking job, fucking behave, get your degree, and then you're gonna, you know, it's pretty chill to teach kids at school because you get July and August and half of September off, and you know you only work until noon, and then you gotta, you know, correct some homework, and that's it. So you get dangled this fake carrot of like, this is pretty good, right? I thought that too. I'm like, okay, being a teacher is pretty good.
I thought so. At some point, I was like, I don't want to be a teacher because of these things. Because everybody was talking about this.
It's our generation everybody said, go study to become a teacher. It was our generation.
Right. That's right.
That's so, I remember that now. Everybody was studying at school to become a teacher. And I'm like, is that going to be my dream job? No. Am I going to tap dance to work every morning? Fuck no. In fact, I would pray to God that when I really become a teacher, I would never have a student that is like I used to be as a student, like horrible.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, but it's a nice thing. It's like, it's doable. I can get there. I don't need a lot of luck. I don't need to have crazy skills. I just need to get my degree and then find a job at some countryside gymnasium and then teach there, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, hold on a second. And that was really like a thought process that I went through in my 20s. Because on one hand, I'm like, okay, I have only one life, okay? This is not like a video game where I have several runs, and one of the runs I could just play it safe, and the other one I'm just like, fuck it, let's see how far it goes. No, I have a singular life. So if I'm a human being that only has a single chance at living his dream, why don't I go all in? Because if I go all in, only one out of two things can happen. Either I don't make it happen, and at least I can look myself in the mirror and say, I tried everything to go live that life where I make as much money as I want. I travel around the world. I'm completely free. I tried everything, didn't work. At least I can look myself in the mirror and I don't have to wonder what if. Or option two is I put in the work and I actually do live the life that I want. Just like you're living in Dubai, man. Like, how amazing is that, right? I asked you earlier, what do you do in summer? You're like, I just leave. I go to the US, I go to Austria, I go to Europe, I go and do whatever the fuck I want. So that's pretty fucking cool. So you know what? Even if someone told me and said, okay, your chance of living that life is less than 1%. I'm like, is it more than zero? Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
For sure.
Then fucking sign me up. Because again, like, I win either way. Either I don't make it happen, and at least I know I tried everything, or I do make it happen, and then I could even become the person that is up on the mountaintop that turns around and extends his arm and helps the next person up. So now I even get to inspire other people to live the life I get to live. And then that person inspires those people, and so on and so forth. Exactly. I'm sure you have a ton of clients that get value from you. They build something for themselves, and then they help the next guy out.
Exactly. Like, it's sometimes like these circles. I'm sure the same thing happens for you. Sometimes you meet some random people, and then you figure out somebody was connected with some of your clients or with yourself, and then but you've been watching them all the time. I mean, it's the same thing for us, man. Just forgot about it. But this happens a lot, actually.
It's the funniest shit ever. You're like, hey man, I watch your stuff. And
Yeah.
like, dude, I watch your stuff.
Exactly.
Holy shit, let's be friends.
Yeah. And that effect happens a lot here in Dubai, which is cool. So all the creators come here and all these kind of people.
Yeah.
Because it attracts these
100%.
people like us.
And it's fucking cool. And I'm like, I wouldn't want to change it for one bit. It's like, you just wake up, you're grateful. You make money, you have abundance financially, you have abundance with everything. And the cool thing is, because we talked about home base earlier before we started rolling, and I'm like, no matter where I go, I always have friends. I go here to Dubai and I just post on Instagram, like, on my way to Dubai. And then all my friends here, I'm like, dude, I'm here too. Let's go meet, let's go get steak. And the same goes when I go to LA, New York, Miami, Vienna, anywhere in Scandinavia. Now everybody's in Asia too. A lot of people in Thailand, Bangkok, Japan.
Yeah.
I go to Japan and people are like, dude, I'm here too, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you have a friend circle everywhere, and that's really the beautiful thing. And look, I'm 34 now. I don't have kids yet, but at the same time, even if you're older and you have kids, imagine you have kids. You're like, you know what, kids? Take a year off from school. We're gonna fucking travel the world. I'm gonna work my 2-3 hours a day on my computer, and while you guys sleep, right? And then we go to Africa, Cape Town, Tokyo, Amsterdam, Berlin, New York. We're just gonna stay at these places for a couple of weeks and go see the fucking world. How amazing is that? You take your whole family with you. You can, and the crazy thing is too, is like, you make way more money than in like 90% of regular jobs where you do not have that freedom.
That's the crazy thing if you think about it.
And all you have to do is shoot videos. Like
that is the thing. I honestly, almost every week, I kind of think back where I kind of started, and everything always goes back to the one time I decided to turn on the camera for the first time and publish it. So I turned it on a lot of times beforehand, didn't publish it. But this one time, I still remember this day, which is, something crazy if you think about it.
That's a good point that you brought up. How do you overcome that barrier that tells you don't publish your video? How are you able to be like, even though it's not perfect, even though I might feel insecurities about me, the way I look, the way I sound, how do you turn that voice off and say, fuck it, I'm just going to go for it anyways?
I had this voice a lot.
Yeah.
I had this for years. I had like 2-3 YouTube channels beforehand. And I was just trying to have everything perfect. And everybody wants to be perfect. But at some point, I just figured out, I was watching all these also gurus and stuff like this. And at some point, Gary Vee, for example, and things like that. And at some point I was like, no, I'm just wasting my time and just overthinking stuff. I'm not going to watch anybody anymore. And I just forced myself to publish one video a week. And I had this other rule where I was like, as soon as I started a script or a video, as soon as I started, I had to publish, no matter how bad it was. And at the beginning, they were really, really bad. And people were, I think this was actually part of it. People were actually calling me out saying, are you high or are you drunk? You're weird, man. And I actually was, because I looked in this camera and I saw this camera and I just was shell shocked. I was afraid of the lens. And it didn't feel for me like that, but I was talking very slow. And literally looking back at those videos, it looks like I was high. But I was just drunk.
You're way funnier than I thought about it. You have this typical Austrian.
Yeah,
it's like dry. You just speak, you just say something as if you're completely serious.
I am serious. I was actually, yeah.
Let's talk about that too.
But yeah, that's what always happened. And people were calling me out at the beginning. And you kind of need some thick skin, but that's part of the game. Because I remember at the beginning, there was like weeks where I just got bad comments. It was but this was an interesting thing for me, because when I started my YouTube channel, I already had an Instagram influencer thing going, and I didn't tell either.
Oh.
So I was keeping them separate.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to see how the dynamics are. Like if people find me or not. Because the biggest thing I was always afraid of was I publish a video and then somebody in my hometown sees it and sees there's 3 views. It's so stupid. Nobody's gonna. None of my, at that time, 15K Instagram followers saw my videos on YouTube. Not a single one, and not the other way around as well. But then I started, there was weeks where I literally got, in the morning I woke up, and I got hate comments. Like, you're so stupid. You look high. Hello, Jack Sparrow. And stuff like this. And, yeah. At one point, I got, like, emails. Like, one dude literally sent me an email. I had, like, 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. A dude sent me a long-ass email, analyzing, saying, I think I know why people don't like you. And I know why people think you're high and drunk. And I believe that you're not high and drunk. And then he sent me a video with a screenshot of my face and calculating the angles on my eyelids. And he's like, yeah, your eyelids are 3 degrees down. And this is why they think you're high. Like, thanks.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Make me get facial surgery.
So one of the things that you talk about a lot is also a question that I want to ask you, and that is, how do you trick the Instagram algorithm to go viral?
Well, the funny thing is, you actually don't trick it. That's the thing. Like, I honestly hate tricking the Instagram algorithm, but there are some tricks. Obviously, the easiest trick in the book, obviously, is ManyChat automations attached to it and just generating some buzz to it.
The classic, yeah.
This is the classic. A year ago, it worked like crazy. Then there was like a period where it didn't work.
I know, I remember.
But it works again. So that's the awesome thing. So right now, for example, my program, we kind of push people into like a 60 to 90 day sequence. First, they need to kind of make sure their basics are set up and they have good quality. They have a content strategy. They know their target audience, and they just know how to create okay-ish content. And then we'll push them through some, creating some lead magnet, multiple lead magnets, and kind of reverse engineering it that way. So, with ManyChat, because the algorithm is going to find it. And the new thing is trial reels. Have you played around with them?
I've played around with it. Haven't been a big fan of it.
Why?
I don't know.
Interesting.
It just didn't work as well.
What'd you do? How'd you do it?
Just try different kinds of content and post them with the trial reels example. But it always ended up going better if you just use it in a regular way. Just upload it, publish it regularly. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah,
too.
so we actually have a whole framework on how we do it now. We have, usually our clients, they post at least 5 versions per reel in the trial reels with different, so mostly split testing, especially split testing the hook.
Yeah.
So that could be small variations, like just a different color or a different word, or like a totally different hook. And then we have 5 to 10 variations post to the trials. And then sometimes they could just post a normal one anyway to the feed.
Yeah.
And
you
just
post
see
them
what's
all
up
at the same time?
Yep.
Sick.
It doesn't matter. That's one thing we figured out. You can post it either at the same time or, after a while. But it's usually easier to kind of track because you see them next to each other if you post it kind of at the same time. And then you just let it play. One thing that works, though, like this is one of the craziest hacks for me, honestly, even though it's not a real hack, but using the trial reels and then attaching a ManyChat to it. Because then you force the algorithm to, because the algorithm always is trying with the trial reels, trying to find some new people for you. Because a lot of people have like old accounts or accounts that are kind of watered down with different niches and pivots, and their audience just sucks because they, but with that, you basically create a few lead magnets that are super laser targeted to their audience. And then you attach it to the ManyChat and the trial reels, and then the algorithm finds people who are in that target audience, and then those people want the lead magnet, they DM you, the whole ManyChat thing starts to come into place, and then, that's something I shouldn't say publicly, and then we usually have people keep the DM train going. With
to book a call or buy
or if they're at that stage at this point, but even if they're not, just hey, what else do you like, or like what are your issues, or just have a conversation, because the algorithm loves that if there's some actual conversation back and forth. And we have some, just a few days ago I had a group call in my program, and there was somebody who had, I think, 40K followers from a trial reel. And it just keeps going. It's up there for a month or something already.
That's the beauty about social media. We always say nothing happens until everything happens.
Yeah.
So it really is. It's a baseline, then you hit that one video.
Yeah.
And you go from 0 to 20,000, 40,000 followers. You get 1 million views. I've had it too, where someone posts a video and the first video hits over 1 million views, but that's not the norm. Right? Usually it's like nothing. Oh, maybe a little bit, bam! And all of a sudden you blow up, and you literally go from like, I'm doing this as a hobby, to like, I'm making full-time 10 times the amount that I used to make. Like from one day to the other. So I always say you're a single video away from living pure freedom.
Totally.
That's the craziest part. A single fucking video can change your life overnight. That's the beauty about this. That's the beauty. Like, you don't need to build a company and like grind your way to the top anymore. You don't need to hire people. I mean, you can. I've had clients that built a team around that, make a multiple 100K every single month. Sure. But if you don't want that, you could just do this yourself. You slap some AI systems on it that do more and more of the work for you. And that's it. And then now you and your family can live wherever you want.
Right.
Do whatever you want. It's just amazing.
Do you do that a lot, actually? Do you have a big team?
I have, I think right now, 30, 35 people.
That's many people. How do you manage them?
Sub-managers. So everybody has one, every field has one executive. So sales has one sales team executive. His name is Nico. He's a fellow Austrian. Nico Berger, shout out. That's the guy I mentioned earlier.
What's up?
So he handles the entire sales team. So what time is it okay, that watch is not correct at all.
Maybe mine is neither, but it's 3 p.m.
3, yeah.
Almost.
So in about 2 hours, he's in the U.S. time zone right now. So in about 2 hours, they have the morning team meeting. We already got a close in or two today. I have sales teams around the entire world. So he manages all that. Does quality control, hires, manages. It's a joy. Sometimes I join these meetings and I'm like, holy shit, you guys are so cool. Everybody has wins that they share with everyone. The vibes in these daily meetings is insane.
Man, that sounds like a dream.
Yeah, he built a mini fight club, basically. Yeah.
And how'd you meet this guy? Obviously.
He worked his way through the company from the lowest of low positions in sales. He used to be a goodwiller, meaning, you have a closer, right? Then you have a setter.
Sure.
And below that, you have a goodwiller who doesn't even do sets. So all he does is he gets as a goodwiller, you get like 1,000 phone numbers from like people that signed up like a year ago. And you grind yourself through. He's like, hey, what's up? And they're like, fuck you. I don't know who the fuck you are. So he worked himself through that, became a setter. Then he did super well as a setter, started getting better and better. And that was back then when people did not work remotely for me. That was back then when I had my offices in Kiev.
Oh, that's so interesting. Can I ask you a few questions about that? Can I flip the script and do that?
Sure. But the crazy thing is he had to, like everybody that wanted to work with me, had to leave their life behind and move to Ukraine.
Wow.
So this Nico guy, he's like, I want to work with you guys. And he had a job, a girlfriend, a family. And I'm like, all right, you got to come to Kiev. And he quit his job, broke up with his girlfriend, moved to Kiev, and then the thing is, like, you move to Kiev, and it's not like you can stay in the company. Like, you move to Kiev to work a month or two, you would already get paid, but like as a test, you could be fired at any time.
Sure.
And he just worked himself up, and then he was really, really getting better and better as a setter. In fact, he had the setter record for like most sets that got closed for like 2 years or so after that, even after he was a setter.
What's the street?
Yeah, then he became a closer, and he was like fourth closer, right? So you have the top closer, second closer, third. He was like fourth closer. Then worked himself up to second closer, first closer. Then we fired my Actually, no, I kind of fired my back then sales manager. He just really sucked at what he did, so I stopped giving him any calls. I basically told him, okay, I don't want him to have any calls anymore, and then he quit because he didn't have any calls. And then Nico was like, I'm like, okay, you're going to be the new main guy. I'm going to build the team with you. And then slowly but steadily, he just built the team by himself, and now he's doing sales management. He barely does any calls himself anymore. It's just all the team.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a beast of a person.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Because I to tell you the truth, my biggest bottleneck is the team right now. I kind of turned down, like, I don't know how to put it. What's the word for it? I scaled down right now the sales, because I don't want to take a lot of sales, because I want to fix the internal team structure first.
Yeah, 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing.
Had some stuff blow up at me internally and stuff like this. But yeah, it sounds like a dream. But
it is the dream, man. It's really sick. It took a while for us to figure it out.
Right.
Also, a lot of bad hires.
Oh yeah,
banging you. Oh, dude, for 2.5 years.
Okay,
because we had to kind of learn how to interview sales staff.
Oh, dude, I started from zero. When I first started, I was like, okay, I'll just post a job thing.
Yeah,
and people just if they want to work with me, they're going to work.
Yeah.
And like, you want to work? Sure. Awesome. And that blew up.
Yeah, same for us. We like a lot, and then you're like, okay, we didn't even do quality control back in the days. We just hire people to let them rip, and like
that was me until 7 months ago.
Oh God, yeah, no numbers, no daily KPIs,
yeah,
no hire, like and just like bang our heads against the wall for 1.5 years with bad sales reps that just couldn't close, and like no matter what we would teach them, they would still make the same mistakes. And now, like I said, like. We, over the last year, mostly Nico, I've helped him with it, but it's more and more just him. He just hires top guys, manages them properly. And like I said, I join these meetings. I'm like, holy shit, you guys are on point. And I have that with every department of my company. That's just sales, right?
Sure.
I have coaching. So because I said like we do everything one-on-one. So we have a great fucking coaching team. And also there, I built it up myself first, daily meetings with the coaching team, hired everybody, and then built up coaches from like regular coach to senior coach, and now the most senior coaches are running the coaching company.
Right.
So the part of that is they do all the daily meetings, they check all the KPIs, they have all the EODs, they manage to train the new guys, and so on and so forth. So I still check those. I still check the EODs twice a week. Mm-hmm. So they have end of day reports that they're posting, EODs.
Same for us.
Yeah, and I twice a week I just check in on them. How is everybody doing? How does the workload look? And I have. In the background, I have all these structures. I know exactly, for example, when we need to hire more coaches. So I have a specific amount of clients that every coach can handle.
Interesting. How much is that, if I can ask?
It depends on the program.
Oh, sure.
So it depends on the intensity of it. It can range between like 5 and 30.
Okay.
Some of them even higher.
Sure.
And it's all just Google Sheets. And then I look at the Google Sheet. I know exactly what the distribution rate looks like. So number one, I know exactly what coach has how many active clients right now, meaning, okay, well, that coach can get 10 more, or that coach is completely full, he cannot get any more clients, because if we would get too many clients, the quality would go down. We want the quality to be top every time. And I also know like what the general distribution rate looks like. So for example, I could look into it and I'm like, okay, my coaching team right now is 80% utilized, meaning they have 20% more clients that they could take on collectively. So if it's around that 75-80% utilization rate, I'm like, okay, let me hire more people, because I'm assuming we're going to just get more clients, right? Because the company is going to keep closing. So it's almost like just like it's like the cannery in the coal mine. I know exactly when I need to hire more people before I overburden the coaching team.
Sure.
So, and I have these structures everywhere. And the entire company is like that. I have a VA system with like virtual assistants that help with the support, like email support and stuff like that. And it's really, it took me a while to figure it out and a lot of pain. But it's again, like now I'm like, now I can just go to Dubai and just have a week full of podcasts and do nothing. Go to the gym and film videos, because the company runs on autopilot, closes coming in, clients are happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I have my one-on-one clients with whom I work one-on-one. It's all on WhatsApp. You know, you go through that, you leave voice messages, you check out their stuff. I still have calls as well, but like much less than I used to.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, because I always wanted to have both, because there's people who say, let me make my 10, 20K a month by myself, so I make, 80-90% profit margins, and that's it. But then at the same time, these people, you go to Dubai and you don't do closing calls for a week. You have no income, right? Like, unless you have like recurring revenue. But most people, they go on vacation, they get sick, and their income goes to zero. And on the other hand, you have people who are like huge team and they manage everything themselves, and they go from business owner to just people manager. And all of a sudden you grind 12 hours a day just managing people. And those are all phases you have to go through. I had to go through the people management phase where all I did was just manage.
Horrible.
Yeah. Hire, training, and then somebody quits and you get super pissed because now you got to hire someone else and train that person. So you go through that phase. You just build systems for everything. And then into these systems, you get little executives that handle all that, right? It's like an army. You're the general and you got the admirals underneath you, and the admirals got staff sergeants and so on and so forth, right? Kind of like the army now that I think about it. And now I have the best of both worlds. I mean, sure, my profit margins are not going to be 90%.
Sure.
Profit margins are going to be like 30 to 50%.
Sure.
But the take-home money is still like multiple six figures of profits. I'm like, but I do barely anything. And here's the craziest part. Sorry for the ramble, but here's the crazy part. Like, you get so mind-fucked by that you're not doing any work anymore, but you make more and more money. So you're like, Because all you know is like, I grind and I make money. I grind more and I make more money. And then all of a sudden, at some point, the seesaw starts to switch. And it's like, I grind less and I make more. Right. And I grind even less and I make even more. So your brain that's been hooked on this like weird, dirty dopamine of just like hustle and grind until you are so exhausted, you pass out on the couch.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
16 hours. You're like, I wake up and I play video games and I hang out with my girlfriend and I go visit my sister and I play with the dog and I go to the gym and I make all this money. This can't be real. Yeah. Like something bad must be happening. Like, I think something bad is going to happen. I can feel you just get super.
I'm in this phase right now.
Yeah,
totally. I get like, if there's nothing to do, I get anxious. I'm like,
yeah,
I can't even enjoy a movie. So I had to force myself to go to these movie theaters just to detach myself from reality, just so I can calm down.
Amen. It's the weirdest mindfuck, and I read about why that is. So here's the craziest part, okay? Here's why most people are unhappy as fuck with their life. It has to do with two different kinds of stress. There's eustress and eustress, okay? Yeah. Eustress, Greek syllable eu means good, and then there's eustress, which is Greek syllable eu means bad.
Right.
So for example, if 3,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago, you're a modern human, genetically speaking, but you don't live in a society like we do right now. You walk through the forest and all of a sudden there's a saber-toothed tiger. Your brain says, danger, danger. You start sweating. Your heart starts pumping. That is eustress. That is positive stress, flight or fight. You run and you run and you run and you run and you get caught and you die and you don't have any more problems, or you run away. And all of a sudden you're in the cave. You're safe. You had this strong, short burst, 10 minutes of extreme stress.
Right.
You calm down. You survived. And now your brain is giving you joy dopamines, right? You feel good. You survived. You're good to go. There's a second kind of stress now, though, and that's the stress we experience right now in a civilized society, and that is eustress. The problem about eustress is it's low in intensity, but it just never fucking ends. Yeah. You wake up in the morning and you might not have to run from a saber-toothed tiger, but you have bills to pay. You have your boss who doesn't like you. You have stress in your relationship. Your kids don't respect you, and that just that nags at your brain just a tiny little bit at a time, a tiny little bit at a time, a tiny little bit at a time. And the problem is, because we feel that, it's not intense enough for us to just run until the problem is gone.
100%.
Yeah, it just eats away at us. And now we distract ourselves because we need that dopamine, right? Because we're lacking dopamine. So now what do? We play games on the phone. We scroll through social media just to get these tiny little bits of dopamine. And the problem with our brain is it thinks that this type of life is normal. It equates this low buzz, low level of stress with regular life, and you get into a dopamine deficiency. At the same time, also, you get addicted to those small little dopamine spikes.
Horrible.
And now the problem happens with your brain completely chemically is you get addicted to that low level buzz of stress, and you get addicted to that cheap dopamine, which means, and this is the craziest part of it all, we humans get literally addicted to a shitty version of life.
Yeah. 100%.
We get addicted to a shitty version of life. And then you find yourself in a beautiful scenario with a sunset. You watch a beautiful movie that makes you feel really good, and you can't even enjoy it because your brain just wants the addiction of low-level stress and cheap fucking dopamine. People can't even watch a movie anymore without checking their phone.
That is crazy.
They can't even wake up anymore without checking their notifications. Yeah. We got addicted to a shitty life. So how do you get out of that? By flushing the negative, bad, cheap dopamine out and replacing it with positive dopamine. What's healthy dopamine? Positive dopamine. Healthy positive dopamine you get from working out, from a 2-hour intense fucking workout, whether that's running or heavy lifting or climbing or skiing, snowboarding. That is beautiful, positive, healthy dopamine. You get healthy dopamine, believe it or not, from eating clean. No processed carbohydrates. You eat clean, you stay away from alcohol, nicotine, caffeine. I had coffee today. Very rarely I have coffee. But you stay away from all this. You train your brain to be hooked on high quality dopamine. Love, You're hanging out with your family. You're cuddling with your kids, with your partner. That's high quality dopamine. You achieve something, a new milestone, right? You go viral. You build a money making system. That is high quality dopamine. So 99% of the world, if you look out the window here, they're all hooked on cheap dopamine.
Yeah, sure.
There's a top 1% people that are hooked on positive dopamine. And those aren't necessarily rich people. You can be rich but still hooked on super shitty dopamine.
Sure, I know lots of people like that.
Yeah. Meditation, another great way of getting really high quality dopamine. Actually taking a dip in cold water, cold plunges, any sort of cold water exposure. Do it correctly, do it under the supervision of a doctor, or ask your doctor how exactly to do that. I'm not advocating for taking random showers. I mean, if you're young, you can probably get away with it. But I'm saying there's high quality versions of dopamine. And you got to get yourself hooked on those. And then all of a sudden, you don't get addicted to a shitty life. You get high off real life. And you're healthy, and your mind is healthy, and your love is pure, and you love life. And that's where you truly step dance to work every day, no matter what your work is.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know how we got to that now.
I have no idea, but I had one thought that was like, yep. Makes sense. I was in a similar situation, and you know what's funny? In Kiev, when I went to Kiev, that's the first time it changed things for me. Maybe it has to do with this dopamine stuff, or with some stress level, while at the same time everything is too nice in your life and too safe. One thing, I don't know if you've noticed that in Kiev, but one thing that I've noticed, just walking on the street, you need to watch out where you step, because there's all these holes on the floor. So I fell a lot of times. But I think people are way more chill and more in the moment in Kiev, because they can't walk around with their phones or just walk around without anything. They need to watch out where they walk, because they will break their leg.
Bro, that is so true. You mentioned earlier, you have a wife in Kiev.
Yeah, she's here, but she's from Kiev.
Okay,
yeah.
So how did that work? How did you meet her?
So I was, at some point I was sick of it. Austria, and so I had first success with my social media stuff, and with YouTube as well. Already had a bunch of consultations that I sold every month, and some courses and some brand deals with Skillshare and this crap like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Skillshare, but we're not gonna play together anymore. And yeah, so I was like, okay, where do we go? Where's the most beautiful women? Possibly Kiev. So we just, a friend of mine who's now my CSO.
Oh, sick.
We just basically were like, okay, let's just move to Kiev for 3 months. That was the maximum we could do. We just flew there in the middle of the winter, which is the stupidest thing ever. It was so stupid. We didn't know any of the Cyrillic language, nothing. We had, do you know Comfort Town?
No.
Any chance?
What's that?
It's like this area with all those colorful buildings
okay.
across the river, though.
Okay.
This is where we had an apartment. First day we got there, we went to Bila, because they had Bila, obviously, because we're stupid, and to the city center, whatever. And we came back, and it started to snow, and we're walking with the Bila packages.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find our apartment anymore, because everything looked the same, and literally we couldn't even read any of those things.
Fuck.
Yeah, but that's how I got to be there, and I started to like it. It was, yeah.
And that's how you met your now wife?
Yes, she's in the neighborhood.
Cool.
Hanging out in the neighborhood.
And now you moved together to Dubai?
Well, yeah, we moved, basically, she was never out of the country beforehand.
Oh, wow.
So we're like, come to Vienna. I actually had a brand deal with some alcohol brand, and I had to deliver, so I had to fly to Vienna back then, and that was like 7 years ago or 8. And I took her with me, and then we kind of stayed together, and then we started traveling, always spending a lot of time in Kiev, a few months every year in Austria, everywhere.
Beautiful love story, man.
Well,
and now you're balling here in Dubai.
Now we're in Dubai. We actually came to Dubai in 2021,
okay,
I want to say, because of the COVID thing.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And we actually flew here from Kiev directly. It was like the contrast was -20 in Kiev, and here was +27. Like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Love it.
And I was like, I don't like Dubai. This is such an artificial, superficial place, and all the strange people are here. And I don't like the culture. That's what I thought. And I came here, And I instantly loved it. And I just wanted to come here for a week.
Yeah.
And now I'm still here, man.
Love it.
I literally got the residency within that week.
That is sick.
You don't know. You know who actually got me into this? I saw it before. So he was on the podcast, Nicholas Petty.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, I met him somewhere there.
Yeah.
He used to live. Yeah, I don't
Shout
know.
out
One
to
of these
Nicholas.
buildings. And then he gave me some contact for residency thing, business setup.
Man. Yeah. Nicholas, we work a lot with him. I
really?
Yeah, I was a
Shout out.
mastermind.
Good
Yeah,
out.
shout out to him. Epic German guy.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, I know you really enjoy this episode with Dominik, who's, by the way, complete G. Love that guy. But a quick word from our sponsor. We don't have any. I make my own money. Maybe I'll have a sponsor at some point, but I just want to let you know that if you like this podcast, please give it a 5-star rating. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify, if you watch this on YouTube, give it a comment, give it a thumbs up. I read every single comment. It's actually me replying. That would mean the world to me because that helps me rank higher. That helps me grow this epic podcast, and it can get more epic guests on for you to learn. So I want to say a big thank you. Much appreciated. And now back to the episode.
Now, you talked a lot about monetization, brand deals, and obviously you've been crushing it. You got a lot of clients as well that are crushing with monetization. In your opinion, what's the fastest way to monetize your content if you're new?
If you're new, obviously high ticket offers.
Okay.
So that's it. Always depends what, because I have to tell, we have a lot of, and I only recently started incorporating the whole monetization aspect into my client stuff. Because my clients came, they're like, I don't want to monetize. I just want to be famous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they want to pivot a little more away from this because we still get lots of people like this.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they're just still, their brain is fucked in terms of high ticket. I don't know what to do. It feels bad to ask, I don't know, 5-10 grand and stuff like this. So in that regard, I think it always depends where you're from and like where you're coming from in terms of your mindset. I tell people, for example, build your email list and put some tripwire offer in there for $27, and suddenly they make $300 off of a reel, and they're like, motherfucker, my life has changed, because it opens up their mind.
Yeah.
So I think it always depends, but I think, what do you think?
Yeah, like you said, it depends. If you have a skill and you're a coach, and obviously high ticket, because like that, you can just instantly make like a month's salary in a day, just by getting a single client that pays you $3K, $5K. If you do anything B2B, you can charge higher prices.
Sure.
We've had people that started as a coach, and they had a pretty good B2B offer where they would help like businesses with scaling or something like that. And we're just like, oh, your starting price is $25K. So they just started making $75K in the first month, just getting 3 clients. So that obviously works if you're a coach. Now, if you're not a coach, it used to be harder, but nowadays with affiliate marketing, it's the same thing.
Oh, affiliate marketing. See, this is totally off my radar.
Dude, it's the easiest thing in the world. It's like if you want to make money fast with your content, you got no brand, you got no experience, you got no skill and nothing to sell.
You're right.
Literally, just go to websites like JVZoo or
yeah,
Copecard.
I remember that.
Yeah, they all have affiliate programs. You like, let's say like you want to make content for cats. You go type cats into these websites. You find a bunch of offers like cat coaching, like how to make sure your cat doesn't pee on the carpet coaching for $3,000. So you find high ticket coachings or services that are not yours. They're from other people. You click a button, you get a link, okay? And you put that link into your bio on Instagram, and now you make content about cats or content about your topic, right? Now, every time someone clicks on that link and buys that program of someone else, you get 30%, 40%, up to 50% commission. So you just make a random video with your cat. It gets 2,000 views. One of these 2,000 people clicks on the link, buys the $3,000 program. You make $1,500. You don't have to deliver anything. Yeah. You don't need to have a business. You don't need to coach anyone. The other person does it, and they just give you 50% of their money. So that's the fastest way, I think.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually a good point.
Yeah, and it's again like so silly, stupid. Like you just make content, and that's a beautiful thing. And like again, like even now with AI, is like, okay, well, I don't have a cat, and I don't want to show my face. Cool. Like literally do the following. Like I found this page the other day. It's called Fat Fellas. Okay, like a fella, like fat fellas. Go to that. It's all completely AI generated. Was it Sora, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's a crazy thing. It's like you go there and it's like fat black guys, like super fat, like riding riding orcas in the Antarctic, going to space, and it looks really real, right? It's like they're in like a fat person's astronaut suit floating around through space, and it's really funny. And there's like hip hop music in the background, completely AI generated, right? It has over 400,000 followers now. They monetized it with a crypto coin. I don't recommend you do that, but those guys are probably making fucking good money
for sure.
It's probably just a single person sitting in India or something, making like 50K a month in India. What I mean? Like that guy probably lives like a king and doesn't show his face. It just opens the laptop, types in the chat GPT, hey, give me a prompt for Sora of a black guy riding an orca in the Antarctic. And then you copy paste that prompt in the Sora, and it spits out the video.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is great. Put some music under it, upload it on Instagram. Done. And again, you don't need to shill a crypto coin. You could just create like whatever, like a fitness program or like a hip hop, how to make your own hip hop beats affiliate program.
That's a good point.
That's the craziest thing. Like, and it's getting, like, remember when the first AI videos came out and it was like really weird?
Will Smith
eating spaghetti, and everyone's like, that does look real stupid AI. And now you look at it and you're like, wait a minute. There's this other video I saw, insane. It got 216 million views. Okay, I wake up one morning and I go check my Instagram and I see it's a video of a hand. Okay, and then there's a what's that insect called? I showed you the video. The mantis, the mantis.
Oh, I saw it.
You saw that?
With
the mantis that has like a flower on his back.
Yeah. I thought it's real, man.
And I'm like, wow, these mantises are amazing.
Yeah, my wife showed it to me. I'm like, this is disgusting, though. Something freaked me out.
And I'm like, wow, look at the wonders of nature. This looks so sick. And then I noticed, I'm like, does this hand have 6 fingers?
Huh.
Oh man, it's AI.
Did it have 6 fingers?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice, man.
It looks so real already, apart from the 6 fingers, that even I'm like a quote unquote expert in AI videos, and I got tricked.
Yeah,
I'm like, this looks so fucking real. From Will Smith looking really weird eating fake spaghetti AI.
That was not so long ago, if you think.
That was like 1.5 years ago, right? Yeah. And it goes exponentially, meaning it's not a linear growth, which means it's just going to get better and better. So you're like, holy shit, this thing looks really real. Or that other video, have you seen the other video of like Donald Trump playing guitar and Putin is on the drums and playing CCR?
Right.
And you're like, this looks really fucking real already.
But very dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Dangerous territories.
I actually think it's cool because if you do something and someone films you, like whatever, you're like drunk.
Oh,
you're like, that's AI. That never happened.
That is such a good idea. This is why I stopped with the whole drinking and stuff.
They're like, oh man, I heard HeyDominik on the Max Tornow podcast talk about being high. No, that was
no.
Never
I never said that. Obviously, no. I'm a virgin.
What's the oldest person you've ever seen succeed on Instagram?
Oldest person? Well, that's such a good question. I remember I worked with few. I think it was 68.
Wow.
69. But that was in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Sick. What did I do?
Painting.
Wow.
Showing their process of some paintings.
And did they started selling the paintings or?
Selling the paintings.
Wow.
Yep.
And what are they doing now? Are you still in contact?
Honestly, I'm not in contact anymore. It's been 5-6 years.
Yeah, interesting. I love it when older people are crushing.
Yeah, totally.
It's like they're sick, like their whole life
and spring
done something, and now they start and get into a new thing.
Totally,
they're crushing it. It's really cool. Let's talk about the future of Instagram.
Sure.
What upcoming Instagram changes do we need to look out for?
Well, there's just one thing the other day. I haven't caught up to it yet, but there's something about sharing with your friends or creating some new friend groups. They always want to have some friend aspect.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of weird. I was like, makes no sense, man. Like, Mosseri, just come on, dude. But it actually does make sense because I was thinking the other day, actually a lot of days ago, probably a year ago or two, I was like, what's the best platform? Short form platform. I honestly think it's Instagram still.
Yeah.
TikTok is fine. Depends what you do with it. Honestly, a lot of inflated stuff and things. But I know people who are really crushing it also build a real connection with people on TikTok. Honestly, with the same content on Instagram. But on like YouTube Shorts, 3 years ago, I was like 100% YouTube Shorts is going to be the thing because YouTube has YouTube is YouTube. They know it. They have the algorithms. They have the insights about the audiences. But honestly, I think YouTube Shorts is the weakest in terms of the direct or indirect monetization and everything brand building, because you can't share it to a friend.
Yeah.
I was going through YouTube the other day. I wanted to send a friend of mine a video. You need to click the share, copy and paste to WhatsApp.
True.
And so all the automations are gone.
All the DMing doesn't work either.
And even there's no linking off anymore, I think. You need to have basically a long from YouTube attached to it.
Yeah, exactly. You can link off to a full-length YouTube video.
Right, that's it.
That's the only thing that's good about it. So what we do with the podcast is we have all these snippets, right?
Right.
These like little mini clips, and then we have those on a podcast channel, and the mini clips link to the entire episode, right? So you scroll around, you have this like one interesting clip where somebody says something crazy, and like, oh wow, that's interesting. Oh, click here to watch the full episode, and boom, now.
Do you track that?
Yeah, you can track exactly.
Does it work?
Yeah, it does. It does. If you go viral with you're not going to go viral with a 2-hour podcast episode, rarely, right? But you can go viral with a little clip.
Sure.
Of like us talking about the mantis, for example, right? Oh wow, that's interesting, right? I want to know more. Who the fuck are these two guys? Oh, they're talking about Instagram and AI. Cool, let me go check out the 2-hour podcast.
Right.
And we always say for there's this like random rule of thumb: for every $1,000 you want somebody to spend on you, they should consume an hour of content. Which it's kind of bullshit. I've sold people that consume less than, but roughly, right?
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you get someone completely new that was just scrolling through YouTube, finds the short, doesn't know you, now watches 2 hours of your podcast.
Of course, that is, in my opinion, like in terms of monetization and longevity, having a short form content wherever it is, Instagram ideally, and then attaching some sort of long form thing to it. This is like the killer.
Yes.
Whether it's podcast, I think is the best, honestly.
Yeah.
But even long form, I consider newsletter.
Oh,
honestly, I think newsletters are super underrated.
You do newsletters?
Yeah. They're like, this is like the major money printing machine.
No shit. Yeah. How many emails do you send out?
I have not a lot right now. Once a week, once a month, more like. But between that, ideally, it should be more in a recurring way, in a predictable way. But like I said, I can't take any more people in my program right now. But I think this is super, super, and such an easy way of doing things. Just say, okay, you have a newsletter, some tips, whatever, weekly stuff, and you just spend an hour each week writing this goddamn thing.
And the crazy thing is, like, you have a newsletter, for example, that converts well. Like, oh, it's just random thingy I wrote the other day, and I get a lot of calls booked or a lot of email opens.
Yes.
You take the subject line from that email, you turn it into a hook.
Into everything.
Yeah, in a full-length video.
That's how I do it, actually. I start with a newsletter. I ramble, have a 600-800 word newsletter, and then I can extract Reels ideas,
sick,
long from YouTube ideas, and then you have this flywheel of unlimited content, basically.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I call it reduce, reuse, recycle.
No, good.
Reduce your amount of time. You reuse ideas.
Yeah.
For example, an idea from a newsletter, you make a reel out of it, and you recycle content, meaning you post the same short form video that you have on Instagram, on TikTok, you post it on LinkedIn, post it on YouTube Shorts. And the cool thing is these are all separate algorithms. Yeah. So we've had content on Instagram that didn't perform well, but went viral on YouTube Shorts.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
That's honestly one thing I still don't understand. This is usually something, if something does well on one platform, at least one of the other doesn't perform it.
Yeah, at all. It's super weird. Here's what I kind of think, and I have no way to prove that, but I think...
You think this conspiracy thing?
Yeah,
I've been
I think
doing a lot of research on that. Well, yeah.
I think it's also... It has a lot to do nowadays with the exact time you're posting and what else is happening at that time. So it could be that like 5 of your biggest competitors are posting really good, high-quality pieces of content at the exact same time. So now all of a sudden people flock to that one, and your video is like perfectly good to go. It would be, but it's just you just happen to post it at the wrong time.
That's a very good point, because I can tell you we have a bunch of clients where we literally say, okay, so you build 3 months worth of content, and after 3 months you just take your old content, just re-upload. Don't change a thing. Sometimes it blows up more. So
it's great. There is a an aspect of randomness to it.
Of course, that's the thing. There is randomness.
Yeah.
And all the gurus are like, there's no randomness. Just follow this exact framework, and it's
Yeah.
always going to work.
Yeah. You
Obviously
can increase
not.
your chances, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
That's it's like you try to increase the chances and play the game as much in your favor as possible, but there's always an aspect of randomness.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about AI. What do you think specifically? How will AI change Instagram in the coming years?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I honestly think there might be a chance that totally real raw content without any AI, where just somebody sitting like us and speaking, or something that's totally goes against what's working right now, is going to be the real shit on Instagram, because even right now I see some videos, I'm not sure if it's real or AI, even some people speaking with the Hey Gen, and which is already old and outdated, but all of these things, and people are just not sure anymore what's real or not. I think that we might get to some sort of rawness revolution in the future.
That would be fucking sick.
I would love it. Honestly, we can already see it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
What are some examples of that?
Just generally, I see some creators. We had somebody on in our program who's like, yeah, I think I need to always constantly jump around like an animal, like the reels, and just have all of these things. Yeah. And then I'm like, just go and do some research, go deeper, and check out the people who recently blew up in your industry. And some of them are literally just sitting and talking to a camera with some nice-ish quality to it, with the microphone and stuff, obviously. But people also start to love that on short form now, not just on YouTube. On YouTube, man, there we see it a lot.
That's true, actually.
Recently.
The Sam Sulek kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, he was actually one of the first to kind of reintroduce that.
Yeah, from highly polished animation, 9 minutes exactly, to like 27-minute vlogs. Fuck it.
I used to spend 2 weeks just scripting YouTube videos, thinking of storytelling arcs, and I literally copied and pasted myself next to Daniel Craig, James Bond, because I wanted it to make cool. It was before AI, so I had to. It was this 5-second clip was like 12 hours worth of work.
Fuck.
And it was just straining me out because I wanted to go for maximum views back then at work. No, I don't do any of this anymore because
I've noticed like, thank God it moved away from this like over editing thing. You do just like, no, just fucking talking head. And it's really beautiful. I saw this video the other day from this woman. The title, I instantly stole the title from one of my own videos. And
it works.
It took me 20 years to realize this. Or it took me 20 years when I'm about to teach you in 9 minutes or something like that. That was the title.
Yeah, that's a one framework that works a lot.
Exactly. And the thumbnail was just like her face, like a 2015 type thumbnail.
Yeah.
Her face with like white letters on it, all over the top. And it got like 5 million views or something like that. And I'm like, thank God. The video was just her talking to the camera, like 3-4 jump cuts, no B-roll, no animations, no nothing. And it was just her. And I'm like, thank God. It was this old school RSD style content.
Exactly. You're right.
Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do that too. Because like you said, like I went from super improvised, like the videos I used for my first business, super improvised. It would be like, because I was always on tour, right? So we would be in like London. And we're like, now it's time to shoot a video. And like on the way there, I would like think like, what do I want to talk about? And sometimes the camera would roll and I wouldn't know what to talk about.
Damn.
So I just started talking, today I want to talk about blah. And I would just make a video about it, speaking to the camera for 20 minutes.
You're natural then though.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that, man.
You could. Dude, you've been doing it here.
I mean, here, but like alone in my room, like a fucking weirdo.
It's just momentum.
You're right.
You just have to know how to push your own buttons.
That's right.
And like I said, like, dude, like your content, because we talked about it, long form is so good. You know how many fucking people out there that are teaching Instagram growth and they could make a reel for 30, 60 seconds with 1,000 cuts and pre-scripted. And yeah, sure, it makes some money. None of these people can do YouTube videos like yours. And because yours are like, you're sitting down in your office studio thing, you got your iPad where you're drawing stuff out, and it's just like, it's on fucking point.
Thanks a lot.
And it's good, and it's deep, and it's not boring, and it's not over-edited. It looks beautiful. Shot itself's obviously really great. And it's like, it's entertaining, but it's to the point. It's not too fluffy, right? And like I said, like it's really, really good. I can recommend everybody to check your stuff out. And that's hard. Like not many people can get that right. And I think so that's how it started with this, just speaking to the camera, and then I switched over to full on scripted, like the entire script, teleprompter. I'm good to read off the teleprompter so people wouldn't notice. And then since about 3/4 of a year or something, like 8 months, 9 months, I'm just like, fuck it. Just work on a title and a thumbnail, make sure the first 30 seconds are kind of on point, and just do what you want. And it's performing better.
Okay.
It's crazy. I mean, my new YouTube channel is super small. It's like 1,000 subscribers or something like that. Or how many? Or 2,000? I don't even know. But even on that level, it already performs better than the hyper scripted stuff.
Right. And plus, I think views are one thing, but like the conversions you get, I honestly think with this unscripted content or less scripted content, conversions is always going to be higher. There's like a dude I know, I work with actually. He's one of my mentors, actually, William Brown. I don't know if you know him.
No.
He's here in Dubai.
Yeah, I do know him.
He has these super, stuff, almost man. No.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Just him talking, drinking
sitting,
his coffee.
There's one video where he's just like had a coffee.
Exactly.
He's like, can you hit to his mate or something? Can you bring me coffee? Forgot to cut it out. Fuck it. No thumbnail.
Yeah. I love that you bring him up. I'm like, that's also one of the guys. I'm like, this guy just talks.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Exactly.
He doesn't even, you even see him press the button on the camera. He doesn't even cut that out.
Yeah.
And he gets a shit ton of views. And that's again, like, especially on YouTube, it depends a lot on your audience. Because if your audience is like 30-year-old plus, like we grew up without the crazy editing. Our dopamine receptors aren't that fucked up.
Yeah.
They're not that fried. So we're like, yeah, fuck it. The guy talks. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a very good point. Since we've talked about content creation already, what's something about being a full-time content creator that nobody really talks about?
Oh, that's a good point. Huh. I mean, I guess that it's not gonna be an overnight thing. I think that's the thing that a lot of people might want you to believe. Plus, I think that the biggest one is actually there's not one way of doing things. There's literally 100,000 different ways of doing things, and comparing yourself. Okay, I see all these gurus. I don't want to throw shade at any of them. In my niche or in different niches, must be the same. Who are like, okay, so I blew up this one account and it works. This is my framework and this is how it works. So trust me and do exactly what I do. It's going to work for you as well. I can tell you the amount of times we've worked with two people in the same niche where the same strategy just would not work because of different backgrounds, different audience subsets, even like what's natural to them, to the creator itself. I think that's one thing. And I'm a little bit to blame for that as well, because everybody's like, yeah, just start off copying everybody. And I have one thing where I have clients literally copy videos of other people to make them look and feel, do everything the same, just so they get into the flow and see what it actually takes to create a video. Yeah. But honestly, sometimes just going against the whole grain of everything could be working too. And a lot of people are afraid of that, because everybody's doing that one thing and it seems to work.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Is if you could break down your acquisition of that know-how, of that skill that you built into like bullet points.
Sure.
What does one have to go through in order to get to that skill level? I know how it went for me, right? I know it's like first I created a lot for myself, so I figured out what works for me. Then start working with others. Kind of like you said, like, oh, wait a minute, what works for me doesn't necessarily mean it works for them, and you have to adjust it. But I'd be curious about your journey.
Yeah, essentially the same. So at first, like I said, I became an influencer and figured this thing out. And then people started asking me, how can I do the same? How can I do the same? Then I started working with some people one-on-one, just one-off consultations. I remember $150 euros for an hour, and I was like, fuck yeah. And then I figured out, okay, some things don't work. Oops. Might be a different thing to it. And basically then I just thought, I'm just going to go all in on figuring out how that really works. Started working with so many different people. I started something I probably don't want to say, but let's say it. We had like in Vienna some office where there was like 300 phones with software. And basically with Instagram test accounts, we're swiping through and where I was just testing and seeing how the algorithm works.
No shit.
Yeah.
You did that?
Yeah. If you go in this room, probably people will get cancer from it because everybody had a SIM card.
Yeah.
So it was hundreds of phones.
Does that room still exist?
The room, yeah, but it's not full with phones anyway.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and that's why probably they banned me from using Meta business products. I think they figured it out or something like that. So
Wait, walk me through that. So you had the idea of like, why don't we just buy 300 phones?
Well, it's not 300 at the beginning, but we were starting, because I was a nerd, and I was just trying to make
Androids or iPhone?
Androids. You need the
because they're
Androids
cheaper.
for this. No, yeah, and you can actually put some software on it that swipes, and that kind of tricks the algorithm. Because at first we had these sort of bots running, and then Instagram figured it out, and they literally figured it out overnight. We had a business, basically an agency, where we did research for clients and also ran their accounts with these bots. Horrible. I hate this, but it's part of the journey. And then Instagram literally figured all of this out, banned all of our clients' accounts, all of our accounts. It was not recoverable. We were back then. It was 2017, maybe 18. We're making like 50 grand a month with my partner together, and then all things shut down and zero, man. And especially when you're young like this, you think you're killing it. You're like, I own the world. If I'm making more than, I don't know, 5K a month or something like that, because everybody, and suddenly I'm at 0.0 again.
But what exactly did these bots do? You program
research. First of all, research is go through all of the hashtags back then, who were still hashtags, to find out the niche and the content, and just basically put them in some spreadsheets. And then obviously some of them were doing this follow and follow crap.
Yeah.
That still worked. And then we had some other bots that we started. Man, this is why I hate the botting world, because I was kind of engulfed in this. We had these story viewer bots where we took clients and watched like 50 million stories a day with their accounts. And there was no restriction from the algorithms. So they got like 10K followers a day just from this. Because they saw them.
Other accounts would see
them in their story views.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then we had some contacts in the Meta thing who managed to get us some verified badges.
Oh, interesting.
So all the shady
back
stuff.
then when you couldn't just do something.
Yeah. When you had to cost literally between 10 and 30K.
Exactly.
People paid that.
Yeah, I remember. I had this guy once that this typical scam. You get a DM and like, someone paid me to mass report your account unless you pay me $3,000 in Bitcoin. And I've had this guy over and over again. I never fucking paid. I never opened.
I was running them.
Yeah, that was you. Yeah. And they got my account down like 7 times in a row.
Oh, they actually did?
Every time.
Motherfucker.
Every fucking time. Back then, you could just mass report for impersonation or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck these motherfuckers. And then, you had to change your profile photo to a photo that is not your face.
Yeah.
And I was like so close to just drop 30K to get the verification, because with the verification, you couldn't be changed. You couldn't be mass reported for impersonation because it's the original account. And then like 2 months later, Instagram Meta came out with the $17 subscription, you get the verified badge.
That was only recently when it happened to you.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Like 3 years ago or something. And then I just got that, and ever since then, no more problem.
Yeah.
So, but when it came to these like bot setups, you have to plug in like 300 phones, and then you got all that over like a power strip, and then those
multiple power strips, multiple Mac Minis.
Was the room really warm from the heat of the phones?
Yeah, there was some cut out in the window, so we can put some AC.
Shit. And then what did you do with these phones when you stopped that? Just threw them away?
Actually, I think my business partner dealt with it.
Wow.
Maybe they still exist somewhere.
That's great. I know that only from China. But that you guys did that in just Austria? Just had
it's just
the fucking phones there?
And this is where we got so much data and stuff. And then basically, I was just working with more clients, and I had a course, the IG Black File. It was my first course that I ever launched. Did pretty well, and lots of success stories. And then I just started interviewing those people. Okay, what actually did you do? Which of the steps did you take? And I figured out there's so many things about it. And then I started the creator mentorship, which the thing that I have right now, and where we work one-on-one with people. And this is when it only started to really click what really, the different levels, the different, paths that you need to take for different accounts or tests, because there's no way of knowing before working with somebody what actually works. So there's always some, like you said, randomness to it.
What was like the most exotic niche you've had as a client?
Well, honestly, I don't think any of them are exotic. For example, knitting.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody says it's exotic, but I think it's actually a legit thing, an awesome thing. We had some porn stars. That's actually erotic.
No shit.
Yeah.
What do you mean erotic?
No, it's not exotic, but it's erotic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just for research purposes, what's that porn star's name?
It started off with one of the first ones who had a consultation with me in 2018 was one of, I was watching her for years. At that time, I don't remember the name. You know her, I'm sure. But then there's some, we have worked with a lot of OnlyFans people. And
I mean, of course, hell yeah, because they promote their OnlyFans.
And they have the rules of the games are a little different for them.
Why?
Because they literally get banned twice a day, and they always have to have a backup strategy. But yeah, just I was very honored to have people reach out to me that I've known before from that.
Okay, so just walk me through that. So you got a consultation booked on your calendar. You probably didn't know yet that's that porn star that.
That was back in this. No, I knew. I forgot her name, man. She was in the early 2000s, a big one.
Oh, okay.
One of those.
Yeah.
That we all knew.
And she shows up to the call. And you're like, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that.
I'm like, hey, I've seen your
work. I'm a big fan of your work.
I want to see something different, but
it's funny when you say that to porn stars. I'm a big fan of your work.
Yeah,
obviously. Meaning basically, I masturbate to videos of you having sex.
Exactly.
That's what funny. Your work. Oh man! And then you helped her build an Instagram account.
Now that was just a one-off consult.
Okay.
But yeah, so far the other ones are all OnlyFans and stuff like this.
Wow, interesting. I once met a girl. She ran an OnlyFans agency.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them here also.
Oh yeah, I imagine, and a lot of Russians running those,
of course.
And it was really interesting because it was a date, and I think it was from Tinder or something like that back in the days. And she shows up. She doesn't quite look like her pictures. And I mean, she did, but just not my type. After all, in real life, just not my type. But I'm like, whenever that happens, I could never just be like, oh, you're not my type, bye. I would always be like, okay, well, whatever. Let's have an hour, good conversation.
Sure.
Let's find out what the person
Sure,
is like,
I always used to do that.
Yeah, so I would converse with her, and I'm like, what do you do? She said, oh, I run an OnlyFans agency. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So we ended up talking for hours about an OnlyFans agency. And she basically says she recruits the girls, and these girls would not have access to their own OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
They would build an OnlyFans account for her, and she would have this army of copywriters from Mexico who would chat with all the guys and be like, hey, sweetie, do you want to see my and it's all just some Miguel guy in Mexico, right? And like I said, the girls wouldn't even have access, and then they would write the girls like, hey, someone purchased a $200 video of you having sex with a vegetable, right, with a cucumber or something. Go please just make this video and send it to us, like that. And I asked her, I'm like, okay, what girls convert the best on OnlyFans? And her answer was really shocking. She said it's not the pretty girls at all. The more beautiful in the classic sense a girl is, the less well she converts, because guys are so degenerate nowadays.
They want the ugly ones?
That they can't even, it doesn't even turn them on enough to just have a classic, beautiful, symmetrical face, nice body type of girl. She said the best converting girls she had were girls that were a little bit chubby, with a baby face. Because obviously the guy, when they look younger than 18.
Sure.
And also she said girls with disabilities, missing a limb, shit like that. Ooh. She said these girls would privet. So she's on the lookout for girls with disabilities trying to get them to start OnlyFans because she's like, those girls are printing. And no guy would admit that, right? But money fucking talks. So she's like, these girls with disabilities are fucking printing. And all the classic hot girls are like super jealous. They're like, how the fuck is this girl? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm way fucking hotter. And that was interesting. And then the funny way, the way this date ended was she's like, so do you want to do some coke? And I'm like, what? And I'm super clean. Like, I don't do any sort of hard drugs at all.
Which is very good.
I smoke marijuana every now and then, maybe once a month when I'm like in Amsterdam or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't drink alcohol. I barely even do coffee. So she's like, do you want to do coke? And I've never done coke. Will never do it. It's one of the worst drugs ever if you really look into it. And I'm like, no. I mean, no, thank you. She's like, oh, I do coke every day.
Oh,
I do it before I go to bed. And
And
I'm like, what? And I'm like starting to like try to lecture her, like, you don't know that this is like the worst for your brain chemistry and it like completely fucks up your neurological receptors. Yeah. And she's like, no, that's just a myth. I got really good cocaine. Like if you get it really pure, it's really good for you. It's like she talks about it like it's a supplement.
Horrible. Yeah.
And she's like,
nootropic.
And she's like, in fact, I'm meeting my dealer right now. Can you wait here for a sec? And I'm like, what? So we were in the shisha lounge, okay? And we were sitting right by the window, kind of like this, on the second floor or something. And she's like, oh, my dealer's here. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'll be right back. So I look out the window. I see her run across the street to some like black tanned out Mercedes that just parked there. She gets to the Mercedes, comes out with a bag of cocaine. And I'm like, so you want? I thought she was like joking, like, haha, my dealers, you know?
Right.
And she's like, anyway, it's like, just gonna last me for a week now. And I'm like, that was years ago, right? That was years ago. And I'm like, you're one hell of an interesting person. Not gonna lie, like you're very interesting to talk to. And then I went home and drank my good night tea and took my zinc and magnesium supplements.
Right.
And next day I hit the gym. So I'm like, people are crazy.
I've met lots of people like this. So, yeah. He wasn't here, no.
Here, not at all, huh? It's drugs.
I've heard there's some stuff.
Real.
So, yeah, I've been down there. There's some, let's not name it, but there's some places.
No shit.
Where there's interesting people.
Yeah.
I met some gangster rapper.
Oh, yeah?
Germany. And he was affiliated with people who explode or who blow up ATMs in Holland.
What the fuck?
And we're sitting there, and next to it was some Hells Angels dude.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I don't even know if I should talk about this, but no, he's a nice guy. He's actually a cool guy.
I mean,
but it was so
always nice.
They're cool. Like he's like the crazy with the Hells Angels jacket.
Wow.
And I was asking, and what do you do for work? He's just trying to ease the tension. He's like, Ant, what do you do? And he didn't know what to respond. Like,
yeah. They're always vague.
I'm a rocker, he said. What is a rocker? I said, a rocker. Funny.
Dude, it is the craziest thing, man. We were seeing AC/DC in Bratislava. I took my dad and my brother as a surprise as a birthday present. And I just just meet me here at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then we would go take the first class train to Bratislava, and then they're like, why are we at this hotel? We stayed at the nicest hotel in the whole city. We went and saw AC/DC, awesome. And they're like, holy shit, AC/DC. And then we come back at like midnight, right? And everybody had separate rooms because my dad snores like crazy. I'm not going to sleep in the same room. So I got them all nice rooms, and I try to get into my room, and my key card doesn't work. And I'm like, oh, I'm tired, I'm sweaty, from the fucking concert in the sun. Gotta go downstairs, get the stupid key card. All right, fuck it. I go back into the lobby, and as the elevator opens up, there's a security guy to my left, like guarding the elevator door in like a black suit, with the earpiece in it. I'm like, wow, like that hotel takes security pretty seriously. Like 1 a.m. in the morning, okay. And then I go through the lobby, and there's like 20 Hells Angels in their full guard, sitting there with their leather jackets. I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, okay, AC/DC was in town. They were probably seeing the concert. And there was this weird tension in the lobby. And I'm just waiting until it's my turn to go to the reception to exchange my key card. And all of a sudden, this other security guy just walks straight up to me and says, excuse me, sir, please step aside. And I'm like, what do you mean step aside? Like, I'm waiting for my fucking key card. Fuck you. I'm staying at this hotel. He's like, no, get the fuck away. And I'm like, what? And all of a sudden people start clapping. The whole lobby stopped talking, starts clapping. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I look behind that security guy. It's AC/DC walking.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's just AC/DC walking in with like 4 2-meter tall security guards. And I'm like, holy shit. And they're like walking by me like 2 meters in front of me. And I just look at them and I'm like,
insane.
And I only have my second backup phone, my shitty Android phone. And like in the last second, I'm like, I got to take a photo of this. Nobody's going to believe it. So I have like a blurry photo of Angus Young walking towards the elevator.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. And the reason why the Hells Angels thing came up is because the Hells Angels are the private security force of AC/DC.
Really? I didn't know that.
Apparently, yeah.
That is crazy.
Like wherever they go in whatever city,
Okay.
the local chapter of the Hells Angels is like taking care of things, shit like that.
That's crazy.
But these are real gangs.
They are real gangs. I've heard stories from certain people. Man, they're like,
It's weird.
legit.
I didn't know that. I was like, what the Hells Angels? A bunch of lawyers.
I didn't know it too. I didn't even know that you're not allowed to have they're not allowed to have their jackets on in Austria or Germany.
Really?
It's like a swastika basically.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I didn't know that too. I didn't know anything about that.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
What's the future of HeyDominik? What are you gonna
That is a
what's your-
pivot. Hells Angels.
Yeah, you
Most
gonna
likely
ride?
some gang.
What
But
are you gonna do next?
yeah,
2, 3,
that's
4,
a
5 years?
good idea. Good question. Honestly, the way right now I'm a little bit of a transitional period. It's a weird thing to say because usually the bums say this. Who don't have anything to do, but I honestly think this whole. I basically want to position myself to be the top go-to guy in the social media world, not just for blow up, inflated views, but to actually teach people and help people to create a sustainable long-term brand that is here for years. Because, I've been in the content creation game for 8-9 years, full-time living from this thing for 8-9 years.
Yeah.
You too, obviously. So that's a thing. It's not just a fad at this point anymore. And you don't need, even better than back then, like we said before, you don't need to build your brand to blow it up with viral views. And this is kind of what I want to build, some legit top of the line way to help people be that person, which is the same thing I do right now anyway. So future is the same like right now.
What do you think is the biggest opportunity for Instagram content creators right now?
Honestly, I think the bar has gotten higher. So in a way, it's a little more complicated, but in a way, it's way easier than before because you just need to stand out just a little bit from all those copycats. Because right now, there's creators popping up left and right, and everybody's the same, and you couldn't tell anybody apart from each other. But if there's just a few things you need to do, basically, show up in a way. Don't be afraid to show who you really are. Just show a little bit about your actual personality. And I think that is the actual opportunity here.
Sick.
Yeah.
There's such a need for authenticity, and I think there's always been need for authenticity, but it's just getting more and more and more and more.
It's getting more and more because people, I always say it like that. Before, like in the caveman times, people were like, yeah, okay, we can't speak. Well, then they couldn't think. But yeah, at some point they could speak. And then somebody was like, they were talking, and at some point, some smart kid was like, I can lie. And nobody knew the concept of lying. And he started lying to everybody, and everybody believed him. And then at some point, people were like, well, he's full of shit, though. But it probably took a few hundred years until people understood the concept of lying. I think we're right now at this stage in social media. Before, you could just throw stuff out, and people just believed you and just whatever they saw. And now it's getting sophisticated. It's like another way of communicating. And it was a new thing just 10 years ago. And now people start to get it finally. And that's why the need for authenticity is there.
Since you said you've been doing this for so many years, you obviously love doing it.
Yeah.
How did you make yourself love it? If there's content creators watching this right now and they're like, I'm tired of fucking posting.
Man.
I'm burnt out. I don't want to overshare all the time. I'm sure you've been through a phase like that as well. What's your advice for this?
I have been through this phase probably. At the beginning, I was there every 3 weeks.
Huh.
for years. Then it went down to once a year, and I always just had the big picture in mind. Like, I want to change people's lives. This is my passion anyway, because I've always been like this weird kid to buy cameras with video cassettes and stuff like this. And I always had just a long-term vision in my mind, and I always tried to push myself through. That's the easiest answer, even though it's probably not even an answer. You know what I mean?
How do you make content creation fun when you're filming, when you're working on, when you're doing ideation? Do you have a ritual? You sit down with your favorite drink, favorite music, something like that?
Well, yeah, actually, usually I just sit down with some music. A lot of the times I take some film music or some stuff to have it while I open up my brain to kind of see what's happening. But honestly, it's just a routine at this point. Every Monday I sit down, think of a newsletter topic, write it down, and then next day I create all the other content ideas.
Sick.
And that's it.
So you have a routine,
Yeah.
You figured out what flows.
Yeah, it took me a long time. There was times where I was just sitting there for 3-4 days. Script number 1. Start 3 hours. Nice bullshit. Delete. Again. Delete. So
it's a process you have to go through, and you have to kind of realize what pushes your own buttons.
Yeah, totally.
In anything in life, like same for the gym. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like going to the gym. I've been doing it for 12 years or something like that. Because I know what I need to do in order for me to enjoy it.
Sure.
And I think, people always ask, like, what's the best diet? Well, it's the diet you can stick to. What's the best content strategy? It's the content strategy that allows you to create content.
Exactly. That's such a good point. We have so many different creators who are totally different. Some are like, okay, I'm smashing. I'll post and this is my thing. Some are like, I don't want a script. I need to script, but I just want to riff raff and I want to make it work. Everything fucking works if it comes natural to you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If I were to sit down and kind of force myself to do something that's not natural to me, it's not going to work. Also, in terms of how people perceive it, I think that's the thing. Just allowing yourself to do what you think is good for yourself.
Yeah, that's the biggest point. Do whatever floats your boat, so to speak. And I have to say, like, to wrap things up, there's so many content creators out there, so many people who teach content creating that are inconsistent. They got lucky with some virality. They're relevant for a year or two. They spike their knowledge with bullshit just for clickbaits, just to monetize as quickly as possible. They don't give a shit about their clients. They just get as many clients on as possible. You literally close down when you have too many.
Yeah.
So there's so many fucking idiots out there that are doing on the surface level the same thing. But I'm very happy that I'm here with you today.
Thank you.
And I think a lot of people can feel that. They listen to this podcast, they're like, this Dominik guy, he fucking knows what he's doing. He's legit. He doesn't care about what others think. He does his thing and he does it good. So I'm happy that you're here.
I'm happy I'm here, man. So happy we got to finally meet.
Dude.
In a real world scenario.
What a fucking crazy journey, man. The world's a village.
It is, and for some reason we're still part of the same, not even just country, but same state.
So true, actually. Yeah, it's like you converge back together all the time.
It's crazy.
It's fucking crazy, man. How can people find you when they want to know more about you, when they want to get in touch with you?
HeyDominik, basically. Wherever you want to go, HeyDominik, that's the way.
With a K at the end, not a C.
With a K, that's very important, and with a small H. Oh. If you DM me with a capital H, I'm not going to respond. I'll block you probably. Yeah, because I'm over it. I'm too old for this.
Yeah, don't.
I have my standards.
So Instagram,
YouTube. Yeah, DM me. Feel free.
Boom. Check it out, folks. Well, thanks for being on the podcast, man. It's been my pleasure, bro.
Been my pleasure.
All right, folks. A lot of people say, Max, you're traveling the world. You have all these awesome podcast guests on. Your brand is insane. You're making all this money. How can I do this too? Well, the answer is actually pretty straightforward. There's a link down in the description below. Book a free consultation call with me and my team. We'll help you build your brand. We'll help you get started. We'll help you make your first money, get your first clients. Even if you have zero experience, even if you have nothing to coach, we nowadays can help anyone generate extreme high income online with the help of AI. If you want to know more, just tap that link link down below. Book your call, talk to us. It's entirely for free. It's not going to be a high pressure sales call whatsoever. We're actually going to be very, very valuable on these calls. So especially for people that have been watching or listening to the podcast, I know you're very, very serious about your goals because you're listening to an entire 2-hour podcast episode. So if that is you, link down in the description below or maxtornow.com/call. You can go to that URL as well. And then let's talk soon. Cheers. Thank you.